list, we have Supreme Verdict too, 2x Supreme Verdict. Wrath of God main deck's not something that's been seen a heck of a lot. It's been a sideboard card, but Jared Boettcher maybe took some notes from a standard deck.
All right, and we're started. So it looks like we're going to switch that around up top. All right, we got it good, and we'll get started here.
Yep, so Deathrite Shaman, countered by Force of Will on the first turn of the game. And Jared just has a land and passes it back. Let's see what Kevin has.
Looks like it is Tarmogoyf.
Wow, so turn 2 Tarmogoyf, not what you usually see, but it's a 2/3, and as soon as Jared cracks that land, it'll be a 3/4.
Yeah, and I mean, Jared does have the Izzet Charm, but you cannot counter a Tarmogoyf there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nor can you deal 2 damage to a 2/3 Tarmogoyf.
Yeah, I mean, you could, but it won't really do too much good right there. So Jared just plays land, we'll pass the turn. It looks like Kevin drew yet another Tarmogoyf, and he's going to bash in with the first one. Jared's going to take that hit. He'll play a Creeping Tar Pit and a second Goyf.
Wow.
So Kevin with double Goyf right now. Jared's going to be definitely looking for one of his 2 copies main deck Supreme Verdict. I think with the Supreme Verdict here, Kevin would be, definitely in trouble. Maybe Jared will use Izzet Charm's Careful Study ability to try to dig for the Supreme Verdict. What do you think?
Yeah, it's pretty strange. We usually don't see these Shardless Bug decks play the aggro role. Usually they're content to sit back, build their mana base with Creeping Tar Pits, Ancestral Vision, but Kevin, playing the aggro game like his draw dictates, I think Jared's really on the back foot here.
Sure. Well, I'm excited to watch this match. Shardless Bug, Blue-White-Red Stoneblade. It's definitely comes down to a lot of skill. It comes down to the draw, and just lots of small decisions can really alter the game. When am I going to the Brainstorm? Which sack land am I going to go fetch with what? Am I going to play around a Wasteland? Am I not going to play around a Wasteland? All these minor things will definitely come back, and I think the more skillful player will end up winning. So he does cast this Izzet Charm, and there he draws a counterspell and a Force of Will, and he's probably going to discard. I think there's some confusion there. I think Kevin and Jared weren't sure if this was in response to the Goyf or not, so we'll find out. We don't have audio, so we can't tell exactly what they're saying. But there's a good look at Izzet Charm, 1 blue, 1 red, and has 3 really nice abilities,
right,
as you can see on the screen.
I think Tarmogoyf is still on the stack here. That was the little conversation they were having. Jared might be Force of Willing this here.
Yeah, I mean, he did draw into a Force of Will, so
right.
If he does, that means he's actually losing 4 cards, 2 from the Izzet Charm and 2 for the Force of Will. But maybe it wasn't in response. Not too sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, if it's not in response, okay,
it was end of turn. Yeah, I thought it was end of turn. I wonder why it wasn't in response.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a misplay there. Didn't think about drawing into Force of Will. Maybe also a slight misplay by Kevin Jennings, not casting Tarmogoyf pre-combat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
fetch, but minor, maybe 1 life.
Yeah. So a couple of small decisions there. Don't know if it's going to affect the game too much, but we'll see what happens. Maybe Jared's going to go for end of the turn Vidalian Click, and that looks like what he is doing. He's probably going to target Kevin if it resolves. We'll find out just momentarily.
Yeah, it's always a tough choice with the Vendelian Click. You can target yourself, try and dig deeper to the card you need, like Supreme Verdict, or you can get Perfect Information, which looks like what he's doing here.
All right, so it looks like a Shardless Agent, and a Misty Rainforest?
I think so, yeah.
Would you take anything with the click here, or would you just let him have it?
I might have just let him have it, but it looks like he's going to take a Shardless Agent. I wouldn't want Kevin Jennings drawing any closer to a removal spell. Or a disruption spell, a counter spell, a Force of Will, something like that.
Yeah, I think Shardless Agent is just too good, though.
Okay.
I think you just have to take it because it could easily get to something like Belful Strix or, of course, Ancestral Visions.
Right.
Yeah. Even a Thoughtseize or something. So.
1, 2, 3 mana. Could this be a click of his own? What does he have here?
He has the Shardless Agent that we saw last turn.
Okay.
And there's a Jace. There's a Brainstorm.
Yeah, not a bad Shardless Agent at all. Much like Snapcaster Mage is a value spell for 2 with sometimes Brainstorm attached, so Shardless Agent is.
All right, so Kevin will Brainstorm. 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
Yeah, this game looks really good for Kevin so far.
Yeah, good Brainstorm. Now, the Thoughtseize he drew into, he's not going to be able to cast it, but that doesn't stop him from having 6 power worth of Tarmogoyf in play.
Yeah, I don't really know what Jared's plan is. He obviously doesn't have a Supreme Verdict.
Right, he actually exiled one to the Force of Will. You can see there up in the top right.
So he only has 1 left.
1 left. Maybe that's why Kevin decided to go so aggressive
Sure,
with these Tarmogoyfs.
Yeah, remember, each player sees everybody's deck list before the top 8, so they'll know exactly what each player has. So this game's looking pretty bad for Jared, as you guys can see, but we'll see if Kevin could close it out and take a 1-0 lead.
Right. Yeah. So
There's
it looks
a
like
Wasteland on the Tundra. I think he's going to go for it, and he does. And then Kevin will pass the turn. And the turn, Jared's going to stack that Scalding Tarn, and he's going to have to try to find something here. I guess his only out is him having another land in hand that will produce white mana, and of course a Supreme Verdict on the top of his deck.
right, and even then he's in rough shape because of that creeping tar pit waiting in the wings for Kevin Jennings. The 3/2 unblockable can close out a game pretty quickly.
Yeah, Jared does have the Wasteland, but
Sure.
will definitely take at least one hit from it.
Right.
So that's definitely true. And you don't want to go too low against any deck. You know, obviously Kevin doesn't have any direct burn, but if you think about it, Death Right Shaman kind of works as a burn spell.
Right, and also Jared's entire mana base, it's mostly fetch lands.
Yeah.
So he can't go to, say, like 2 or 3 because then he'll be unable to really build his mana base.
Exactly. All right, so Jared will draw. It's a Source to Plowshare. And
Not
he's
gonna
just
do it.
going to scoop it up.
Wow, so lightning fast game 1, at least by Legacy standards, 13 minutes. Kevin Jennings dismantles Jared Boettcher in game 1.
Yeah, that was really, really quick.
Yeah, and you know, I have to apologize to Jared. I've been mispronouncing his name the whole time. It's Boettcher, the O is silent.
Okay, great. That's great to know. All right, so as you guys know, this is a top 8, and we always give away free premium.
Right.
Yeah, if it's not free premium, it's something even better than free premium.
How much premium are we giving away right now?
This one's going to be 3 months free premium.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to start off with the easy question. It's going to go easy, easy, super difficult. You better have studied. No, this question is easy, so I want you guys to tell me who is doing commentary at the SCG Invitational in Somerset. I want all 3 names.
3 people, not just 2. So it's not 2 like a normal open. Since it's the full weekend, 3 days, they have 3 people doing it. We need all 3 names. Now, the important part, you have to use this hashtag right here, SCG Premium. That's the only way you'll be entered. Yep.
Yeah, if you guys want to, tag GFabs5 or ZC Hall,
do
you guys
that.
could. If you want to tag maybe the commentators, if you know them, you want to tweet at them, blow up their Twitter.
That'll be good too.
I don't know how mad they'll get at us if we're telling you guys to blow up their Twitter, but whatever you guys want to do, make sure it's the SCG Premium.
That's
All
right.
So we're gonna go back to the match at hand. They're still sideboarding. We're gonna have to try to put their sideboard up there. In the meantime, let's go over their sideboard. Kevin Jennings, Ratchet Bomb. Good, bad, maybe?
Not too good. That's mainly for the aggro decks, for the decks with, say, Empty the Warrens. Not good here.
Sure. Force of Will, Dismember, Golgari Charm, Liliana of the Veil, Life from the Loam. Anything that really stands out here? What do you think?
Well, I would bring in the extra 2 Thought Seizes, for sure. You have to take away the Stoneforge Mystic before it gets deployed, taking a Supreme Verdict. Since he can't counter it, he'll have to take it with a discard spell. Other than that, he could board in, like, Surgical Extraction to help fight a resource war over an important card. I don't see that being very good. Really, his deck is pretty well set up. He could sideboard in something like a Liliana of the Veil to pressure Jared's hand, but his deck, very well set up to beat the Stoneblade deck. What do you think, Gerard? Do you see anything I missed there?
Well, Kevin Jennings actually has 1 copy of In the Eye of Chaos. That's a pretty confusing card if you guys aren't familiar with In the Eyes of Chaos. We'll bring it up for you, but basically what it is, it's a 3-mana enchant world. There's no more enchant worlds, I don't think, but it's a 3-mana enchant world, 2 colors and a blue, and pretty much what it reads, it says all instants of interrupts are countered unless its caster pays X, where X is the casting cost. So for example, if I want to Thought Seize you, but this card is in play, I'm going to have to pay 2 black.
Okay, so do you think that
there it is.
Kevin just include...
I remembered it pretty much exactly right, where X is the casting cost
nice.
of being the... Okay. It's worded really tricky. I'm sure if a judge walks over, they give you the new Oracle text.
Right. No, so do you think Kevin just included this card because he owned one and it's from Legends, or what's this against?
I mean, it's pretty good, for example, against, say, an expensive instant or sorcery. Maybe an opponent is playing Wrath of God instead of Supreme Verdict.
Okay.
That's 8 mana.
Sure.
Maybe something like you're playing against Storm. You want to try to cast an Ad Nauseam. Are you really going to spend 10 mana on an Ad Nauseam? Do you want to play a Dark Ritual for 2 and only get 1 extra?
It just seems so interesting to be playing this card in your Force of Will deck.
Yeah, I think it's only really good against the Epic Storm type decks that might have the Xanthia's Swarm. So that could be something right there. It's definitely a tricky card, I would say.
That makes sense. Do you think he'll bring in his 1 life from the loam?
Life from the Loam is definitely good against any mid-range type deck. Against a hyper-aggressive deck, you don't want Life from the Loam. Against the combo deck, you don't want Life from the Loam. But against mid-range to control-y type deck, that's where Life from the Loam really, really shines.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So on Boettcher's side of the field, we have Surgicals, Pyroblast, Flusterstorm, and then a whole mess of one-ofs. You see there, Engineered Explosive, the Needle, the Canonist, Detention Sphere, Humility, Moat, Celestial Purge, and Light Tutor. Out of these, I certainly see him bringing in the Pyroblast to help fight against whatever the Shardless turns up, maybe the Ancestral Vision. That'll be huge.
Sure.
Flusterstorm is okay, can help fight a counter war. Not really the matchup it's there for, but he'll probably bring that in, maybe help fight over those Ancestral Visions.
Yeah.
What else do you think?
Well, I think that Jared's got a pretty cool hoodie on. I have all my Star City hoodies at home, and it's a little chilly in here. Air conditioning's on, everybody kind of left. The tournament's winding down. It gets cooler and cooler the less people in the room.
That's some good strategic analysis, Gerard.
Yeah, but towards the match, I would say even though the Stoneblade is down a game, Jared is on the play. He could just get a really good draw. Last game, he got a bad draw because he had multiple Force of Wills, and he was just behind. Kevin just jammed Tarmogoyfs, and Jared didn't really have what he needed to survive there. But I do really like this build of Stoneblade that Jared put together.
What red cards do you like? Is it mostly for the Pyroblast and the board, or do you like the Izzet Charm too?
I really like Pyroblast a lot. I think Pyroblast is a card that, walking around the room, I just actually thought to myself, hey, everyone's playing Blue decks. Pyroblast is something that I want to have either in my sideboard as a 1 or 2 of, or even as a 3 or 4.
Really good card for the Invitational in Somerset.
I think so. A lot of the players at the Invitational really like their Blue decks, so I do believe Pyroblast would be strong. All right, in other news, who won?
Well, we have an update from one of the outer matches.
All right.
Brian Knopp defeated John Ashworth in Game 1, meaning Rug Delver is up 1-0 against Goblins.
Okay, and we predicted that Goblins would win. So
right.
We'll see if we're right. But in the meantime, there's a Scalding Tarn, there's a Creeping Tar Pit. Jared will sack that Scalding Tarn, probably fetch up a Tundra, maybe a Volcanic Island.
Yeah, something like that. Some sort of dual land here, it looks
we'll
like.
find out in a second.
Oh,
basic Island.
Wow.
All right, wasn't really expecting that. Guess he wanted to play around Wasteland. Kevin does have 3 copies of Wasteland in his deck, along with 2 Creeping Tar Pits and a slew of sack lands and dual lands.
Sure. Also really interesting to note, all the players in the top 8, they exchange deck lists before playing their match. So Jared knows that Kevin has access to the 3 Wasteland and the 1 Life from the Loam in the sideboard. That could easily lock him out. He wants to make sure he gets his basic island online, as well as hopefully his basic planes.
All right, so Jared will draw for his turn. There's a counterspell, just old school counterspell. Okay. You don't see it too often in Legacy.
No, usually as a 1-of at the very most. Pretty good card though. It's about as efficient as it gets.
Yeah, another interesting thing is that we see a Glacial Fortress come down from Jared. That's another card you don't really see too often. It's like, oh, why would you play Glacial Fortress over the 4th Tundra? Well, there are cards still out there like Choke, for example.
Right.
So Glacial Fortress gets around that.
Boil.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah, definitely some real hate cards out there. Creeping Tar Pit will tap for a blue, and there's an Ancestral Visions. That's going to get suspended with 4 suspend counters from Kevin, and he'll just pass the turn. So a much less exciting draw from Kevin this game.
Yep, he doesn't have the Tarmogoyf. He doesn't have the aggressive draw. He'll have to wait 4 turns before drawing 3 extra cards. He's going to have to play fair for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, in game 1, Kevin just went turn 2 Goyf, turn 3 Goyf, along with Creeping Tar Pit. So that's pretty crazy. All right, 3 mana from Jared, and this is going to be, wow,
Ooh.
That's awesome. Crucible of the Worlds. That will basically allow him to play a land every turn.
That's right.
Between
with that.
Wasteland and his fetch lands, he's really not going to miss a land drop.
Yeah, really cool. And both these players have the 1 copy of the land recursion card, Crucible versus Life from the Loam. They realize that having this Miser's Lock card with Wasteland can be so valuable in these control matchups.
Yeah, there it is. Crucible of Worlds, 3 mana artifact. You may play land cards from your graveyard as though they were in your hand. Now, you can't play 2 lands in a turn. You can't play a land from your hand and a land from your graveyard. However, you're just not going to miss a land drop for the most part.
Ever.
Yeah. Not the best card against, say, a Deathrite Shaman, but then again, Jared has many ways to answer a Deathrite Shaman. He has Izzet Charm. He has 4 copies of Swords to Plowshare, so that won't be that big of a deal.
Right.
I really like the 1 Sword of Fire Ice in his deck.
Yeah, really cool. It used to be standard in the Stoneblade decks a couple of years ago, maybe the time of the Charlotte Invitational 011.
Exactly.
But nowadays it's kind of fallen out of favor.
Yeah.
He's a Shujite for the sword.
Yeah,
Pretty neat.
I might play this deck at the Invitational. I like it so much.
Yeah, Pyroblast is great. I played a Stoneforge deck with Pyroblast, and Pyroblast were consistently the best card in the sideboard.
Yeah. He also has a Celestial Purchase in the sideboard, which is pretty cool, and I'm pretty sure he brought that in for this matchup.
Yeah. To remove the Deathrite mostly.
Yeah, Deathrite. He could kill an agent, kill a Creeping Tar Pit. Just lots of things he could remove. Liliana the Veil is probably a problem.
Right. So Shardless for Kevin Jennings cascades into Deathrite Shaman, and he'll pass the turn right back to Jared.
Oh, Supreme Verdict. That's a
nice.
really good draw. I think he might just pull the trigger on it right now. Plays Wasteland.
Yeah, well, if he didn't play Scalding Tarn from the graveyard, I think he's probably going to want to remove that Deathrite.
Wasteland, yeah.
He doesn't want to get his Wasteland removed, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm surprised he just doesn't play a Scalding Tarn. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, what's the reasoning here? Okay, I think I understand. He wants to be able to go next turn, Wasteland.
Wasteland.
Yeah. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Jared thinking turns in advance, which is great. He definitely looks to be comfortable with his blue-white-red Stoneblade deck.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, we have a couple updates from the outer tables again. It looks like Bryant Cook is up 1-0, so the Epic Storm has beaten your buddy Eric Smith in Game 1. Also, Nick Malatesta beats Jacob Wilson Game 1. So every prediction that we made is wrong for Game 1.
All right.
Game 1.
I thought today was opposite day.
Well, top 8 is opposite.
All right.
For sure.
Well, if there's a Tarmogoyf, there's no opposite about that. And that is going to be a 4/5.
Wow, so pretty beefy already.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at Jared's hand, he does have Elspeth. He does have Jace. So he has many ways to, pretty much deal with that Tarmogoyf. And again, he has that Wasteland where he might just want to go Wasteland, and try to lock Kevin off some of his colored lands.
Right, and just so you guys know, a few of you tweeted in that you missed the trivia question. I'll repeat it for you guys. Who are the commentators at the Star City Invitational in Somerset? Use the hashtag SCG Premium. Let us know.
All right. So Jared will shuffle up Kevin's deck. And do you think that Jared is looking good here or what?
Oh yeah, this is a great spot for Jared. He has his Crucible, one of the best cards in the matchup. He has plenty of answers for the Tarmogoyf. He has his 2 powerful Planeswalkers.
Ooh, there's an Abrupt Decay.
Forget everything I just said.
Yeah, wow. All right. Well, I mean, I still think it's looking pretty good for Jared. That Goyf will grow to a 5/6. Let's see what Jared draws here. And it was a Flooded Strands. Now, Jared's probably wishing that he maybe played that Scalding Tarn from the graveyard last turn. When you get some value, lots of times you should take it. Here he missed on that opportunity, and we'll see what happens. So it looks like Jared's line of play might go Jace, bounce Goyf, and then leave open Wasteland to take care of that Creeping Tar Pit, or just use that Creeping Tar Pit right now. What do you think about that, Zach?
Yeah, Jared's in kind of an awkward spot here because everything he wants to do this turn costs 6 mana. He wants to either play one of his Planeswalkers with counter backup, play Snapcaster on the Supreme Verdict, and he can't do any of those, so he might just settle for the Wasteland on the Tar Pit and one of his 4 drops. Say, you know
Jace,
what, I'm not going to get to 6 mana, I'm just going to tap out for Jace. If Kevin has the Force, he has the Force. But I think Jared's going to make him have it here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this line is what Jared's going to do. He's again very familiar with his blue-white-red Stoneblade deck. You can just tell by the way he's playing it. And it is unfortunate that Kevin had the Abrupt Decay because his plan of Wasteland isn't going to work out. And I think in hindsight, Jared might have brought this Scalding Tarn back from his graveyard, played a bit safe. Again, he is probably going to play this Jace, so he would want the mana in play anyway.
Right. Kevin has 4 Abrupt Decays in his main deck. Wow, Jace resolves. No Force of Will from Kevin Jennings.
All right, and Jared's going to pass. Do you like passing, or do you just like taking care of that Creeping Tar Pit right now?
I probably would have just destroyed it immediately. I don't really get waiting, but
yeah. Waiting doesn't really help too much. It's not like Kevin's going to activate it.
Right.
And this just cuts him off on a mana, and you already have enough mana, so you don't really need to, hold that Wasteland.
Ooh, Liliana of the Veil. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Kevin can't do anything about that. He just has to let that resolve. And, like you said, if Jared had wasted, Kevin couldn't have played those 2 spells.
Exactly. He only could have played one of those spells. He would have had to decide, you know what, do I want a Goyf or do I want a Liliana?
So Liliana will +1, counterspell, and Liliana discarded. Wow, 6/7 Tarmogoyf. Look at that.
Yeah, and I noticed something here. It looked like the Ancestral Visions trigger was missed by Kevin, So some
Is
sloppy play.
Is that contagious today?
I don't know. It was just, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kevin's going to have to wait one extra turn for that vision to resolve.
Yeah. So no matter how much you think you might know your matchup, no matter how much you think you might know your deck or how confident you are in your play, it just shows you that Kevin right here did make an error,
Mm-hmm.
but he's going to have to try to suck it up and play the best he could for the rest of the top 8.
And wow, Planeswalker number 3 added to the board here. Elspeth, Knight Errant, +1, makes a 1/1, protection from Tarmogoyf, unless Kevin wants to -1.
Yeah, all right, so there's Elspeth. I really like Elspeth. I really like Jared's deck.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I think Jared is favored in this matchup. Even though Kevin won game 1, I think that Jared, well, he's favored this game, but he's also
for
just
sure.
favored in the matchup.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And I really like how Jared's playing. He's leaving open that wasteland. He has Jace, he has Elspeth, he made a guy. So his board is really progressing. The only thing that maybe we would have done slightly different is blow that wasteland a bit earlier.
Right.
You're not going to get something much better than a creeping tar pit here.
Yeah, that's exactly what Jared wants to hit. And yeah, I'm a little confused him passing again, not using it. I would have thought he would have realized his mistake from last turn, but no.
All right.
Not yet.
Well, Jared's excited to be in the top 8. He did come in at the 7th seed, so it was definitely not a lock or anything, but he managed to squeak in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty much going to be between Jared and Chris Van Meter, but he ended up coming 7th and Chris 9th, so it was a bigger gap than we thought. All right. Liliana will get activated.
It looks like -1. Kevin wants to keep those Elspeths in check.
Yep. So Liliana goes from 4 down to 2. Jared will draw for his turn. Ooh, another Supreme Verdict. All
Not
right.
bad.
So Jared has a Snapcaster and an Enlightened Tutor. Now, is there something that you think he might be trying to set up with the Enlightened Tutor? Maybe, maybe not. He's got a couple of options. I don't know in this matchup if there's anything that great besides maybe a Detention Sphere. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, he could also go find a Pithing Needle if he brought that in. He could Pithing Needle the Liliana or Detention Sphere on, say, the Tarmogoyf or the Liliana. It's really, it doesn't get much more useful than that. It's not the card he wants to have right now.
Okay, and we were just talking about the Celestial Purge, and look, there it is. He just used Jace, brainstormed into it, which is going to be pretty nice, taking out that Liliana. And he also has a Swords to Plowshare.
Yeah, Kevin has
for that Goy.
So
he's
so
in
many
really
options
good shape.
here.
Yeah, Celestial Purge, awesome card. Doesn't see a lot of play anymore. Exile target black or red permanent.
Right.
It was really popular in Standard. Then once it rotated out, hey, it's made its way into Modern and Legacy. But most of the time, only a 1-of in a sideboard.
Right.
I liked it a lot in Modern just because there was Jund all over the place. And, Legacy sometimes you see Jund.
That's
you
right.
see those Bloodbird Elves?
I remember Brandon Large played that at a pretty recent Star City Open. Tried to innovate Fort Bloodbraid Elf Jund.
Yeah. So Jared is weighing his options here. He's in a really good spot, especially with the Snapcaster.
Yeah, end of turn
Do you think he's going to
Snapcaster.
Snapcaster this Visions?
No, this. Oh, I see. You mean to counter it?
Yeah, exactly. Snapcaster counter the Visions?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Looks like he can't have
Now,
Kevin drawing extra.
Do you think this game would have been totally different if that Visions went off a turn earlier like it should have?
I think so. I think Kevin, 9 rounds, he made a little bit of an error there by not taking it off, but 9 rounds of Magic takes a lot out of you.
Sure. It seems so far that Jared's kind of holding his own this game. He got an unfortunate draw game 1, but game 2, Jared's definitely holding his own. In other news, I got one of the matches right. Jacob Wilson ends up winning 2-1 with his Rug Delver deck.
Wow, so Jacob Wilson, Grand Prix champion, onto the semis.
All right. So Kevin beats in. What will Jared do? He's going to plow something.
Yeah, I wonder what these attacks are. If they're both at Jace or if one's at Elspeth or what's going on here.
Let's see. Yeah, sometimes it's tough when the audio you can't hear exactly. So Goyf at Elspeth, Snap at Jace. All right. Well, I want to keep that Elspeth alive. It's on 6.
Yeah.
You know what ultimate Elspeth happens, right?
Yeah, it makes all your permanents indestructible.
Yeah, that's pretty good. There's the Enlightened Tutor.
Yep, this is on upkeep to act as a fetch land shuffle effect.
What do you think
here.
it is? Humility?
If I have to guess, I'm going to say Detention Sphere or the
maybe a humility. Maybe
the
Engineer
Pithing Needle?
Explosives.
Okay. He could
Couple
go,
of options.
could go for the Engineer.
Oh, a Moat.
Interesting.
All right, that's all.
Wow,
that's pretty awesome.
Does Moat just shut Kevin Jennings out of this game? Let's see here.
Moat's really powerful against him. He's going to have to rely on Jace the Mind Sculptor or maybe Liliana of the Veil Ultimate, and his only creatures that are going to be able to attack are the 2 copies of Battlefield Strix.
Wow, so that's actually pretty good. You know, I would never have thought to side Moten against a blue deck.
Yeah.
But Jared Boettcher is going to shut down all these ground creatures here.
Yeah, it looks that way. And I mean, he won't have much of a problem winning. He has multiple copies of Medallion Click. He could set it up with an Elspeth, give this guy flying, attack.
Right.
So I really like the spot that Jared's in. And so far the match has gone over a half hour. So I wouldn't be surprised if the end of the match here, as long as Jared does win this game, it'll probably reach about the hour mark.
Yeah, probably. You know, this is pretty interesting. We're actually threatening an Elspeth Ultimate in Legacy, something I've never even seen.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it before in Legacy, to be honest.
So, well, Abrupt Decay on the Soldier token.
Yeah, not going to really do too much.
Yep, but he has to use it so he can +2 the Liliana,
Sure.
or +1 the Liliana.
All right, so Jared will draw. Now, do you think Jared just like kind of set this whole Mo thing up? That's why it's like, you know what? I don't need to wasteland that Creeping Tar Pit.
Yeah, he's been holding that Enlightened Tutor for quite a while.
Yeah. My other question is that do you think there's any reason for Kevin to wasteland Jared's wasteland when that was tapped out, or no?
The Creeping Tar Pit is not going to do too much. I don't think it's too relevant, to be honest. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that draw.
Oh, it's an insane draw by Kevin with a Jace. Oh, wow, and there's a Venser.
The 1X Venser Shaper Savant going to bounce that Jace while it's still on the stack there, doing its best remand impersonation.
Yeah, so now Liliana cannot tick up. Kevin will just have to pass the turn, and it looks like Jared will be able to take down that Liliana.
Yeah.
So he'll just give either a Soldier or his Venser flying, swing over, and crush a Liliana.
Right, looks like that's what's going to happen. Flying.
Yeah.
Kevin Jennings at 24, way more important to take out the Liliana here.
Of course, yeah.
And
let's see if Jared has something to follow this up with.
Wow.
Ooh, Stoneforge Mystic.
That's something, all right.
Yeah, that really is.
That'll go fetch probably Sword of Fire and Ice.
I think definitely Sword of Fire Ice here.
Yeah, there it is. Forget Batterskull. The sword is where it's at. You're way better than Jite, way better than Batterskull. That's going to let him take down that Jace quickly.
Yeah, all right. And interesting that he doesn't even want to play Umazala's Jite. He's just going for the sword. Yeah,
zero in the sideboard, too.
Yeah, he thinks sword is just better, and I don't really blame him. There it is, Sword and Fire Ice. +2/+2, pro red, pro blue. And
I would just play it here if I was him. Let's see if he does. The only thing that he might be able to play around is Abrupt Decay, I suppose, but
yeah,
I would slam it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is going to slam it. And he does just that, and then he'll pass the turn.
You know, if you're just joining us right now, Zach Gerard Fabiano here. We're bringing you a match in progress. Kevin Jennings, Jared Boettcher. Pretty complicated board state here. Planeswalkers facing Planeswalkers. And a moat in play, so no ground creatures can attack, and this is really just a Planeswalker battle for right now.
All right, so there's a Jace. Kevin will brainstorm. What do you think he's really looking for here? His one Maelstrom Pulse? Do you think that's what he's trying to dig for?
I suppose so. I think eventually Kevin's going to have to try and win with Jace +2, but
no, Jace is just going to hit the bin this turn most likely.
I guess that's what he was looking for, Maelstrom Pulse or a way to stop the flying creature.
Yeah. So let's see what Jared decides to do here. He will equip to maybe the Venser?
Venser plays around Golgari Charm, which is in Kevin's sideboard, but I guess Jared's not afraid of that. Instead, +3/+3 flying, that'll attack Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Yeah. There is maybe a slight argument to attack Kevin and then redirect the damage to Jace to bring it down to 1 just to draw a card, but it's so much better just to get rid of Jace.
Yeah, Jace is one of those cards, especially in Legacy, where if you can kill Jace, you kill a Jace.
Yeah, there's not much of a reason not to.
Yep, so end of turn, Kevin will fetch out a Trop, shuffle away those cards, hope to Mize's 1 Pulse here. That might be all he has.
Yeah, now Elspeth is on 10, so next turn I do believe that Jared is going to just ultimate the Elspeth.
Right, protect his creatures, make them indestructible.
Yeah, he won't have to worry about the Maelstrom Pulse. All permanents are indestructible.
Right, permanents.
Yeah, so...
I think non-Planeswalker permanents?
No, it's just all permanents.
Okay.
Yeah, so... All right, Kevin draws. Don't really know what he could have. And the way he's kind of flicking his cards, you could tell he knows he's probably going to be defeated this game.
That's right, and you know, I can't help but bring up the Ancestral Vision again. It wouldn't have been countered, and Kevin Jennings might be still in this game right now.
Yeah, the whole game would have been different. There's an end of the turn brainstorm. Wow, there's a Jace. All right.
Jeez.
That's exactly what Jared wants, just to kind of close out this game, but I'm ready to see a game 3.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
expect Kevin Jennings to scoop real soon. Jared Boettcher about to ultimate Elspeth if he wants to, resolve
There's a
Jace.
Jace. Looks like Kevin's going to try to grind this out, though. Maybe he's hoping Jared's going to make a few mistakes.
There we
All
go.
right, finally the scoop. And now, do you think the fact that Kevin forgot that Ancestral Visions trigger, is that going to sting with him and stay and sting? Or is he going to forget about it and just focus on game 3? What do you think?
I don't know. The man looks a little upset. But you know what? He's going to be on the play for game 3. He has a Shardless Bug deck. I think he's confident in it.
Yeah?
He's going to try and shake it off here.
Okay, yeah, I think that's probably what you have to do for the most part. Every time you do make a mistake like that, and it's not even a judgment call, it's just an error right there.
Right.
You really have to forget about it. But if you look at Jared, for example, he's just having fun. He's like, hey, guys, I'm here, or whatever.
He
just
came
having
to
a good
game.
Yeah. I mean, he's really happy because, again, there was a chance he was going to miss it on tiebreakers.
Right.
So he's just happy to be in the top 8. And lots of times, I'm sure you have the same feeling, where you're uncertain if you're going to make it in. You might miss on breakers. Once you make it in, you're like, yeah, you got to really enjoy the moment. And I think that's what's happening right here.
That's right.
So, again, we have Kevin Jennings to the left with Shardless Bug. And we have Jared to the right with the blue-white-red Stoneblade deck, a deck that, you see it every once in a while, but it's really rare to see it, and it's a really cool deck. The one thing that I would do, I would probably throw a couple of Meddling Mages in the sideboard. I love Meddling Mage. I think it's one of the best cards that you can actually play against combo decks. It looks like Jared took a different route, and he says most of the combo decks are blue, so I'm going to have Pyroblast, I'm going to have Flusterstorm, and then, of course, I'm going to have Surgical Extractions for A, dredge decks, and B, for some of the combo decks as well.
Yeah, and you know what? Something interesting that Joe points out on Twitter.
Yep.
Bryant Cook actually beat the blue-white-red Delver deck, or the blue-white-red Stoneblade deck in the finals of SCGDC.
Sure. All right.
So Bryant made the top 8.
Yeah.
That was another place
tweeting
we've
in.
seen blue-white-red Stoneblade.
Yeah. All right. Wow. We have a lot of tweets for our trivia as well, so it looks like it's going to be pretty tough to win here, but we'll see what happens. All right.
Oh wow! So players checking out each other's sideboards here.
Sideboard in between. Yep. And we'll see if anybody has any last-minute changes or whatnot. So Jared's going to be in the draw. Do you think it's going to affect his sideboarding changes or anything, or no?
No, I don't think so. I think for the most part, especially in a match like blue on blue, the sideboards don't really change from play to draw. You're looking more at like an aggro matchup when that changes, I think.
Sure. All right. It's exciting. We see the head judge in the background just going over some deck lists, just going over some rulings. Wow, Eric Smith did win 2-1, so far 2 for 2 on my predictions.
Okay, so both players 0-1 to start, 2-1 to finish. Does that mean their sideboards are good?
Yeah, Eric Smith definitely had a good sideboard against Combo. And if you think about it, Combo normally will have a pretty good game 1. It's a combo deck. People aren't really expecting it. They don't have main deck hate. But of course, people come with at least 7 or 8 of their sideboard cards, especially in Legacy, to try to combat Combo.
That's right.
Yeah.
So if you're unfamiliar with these players, Jared Boettcher on your right, he's from Rensselaer, New York. If you don't know, that's up by Albany, the state capital. Kevin Jennings from Wakefield, Mass., which is fairly close to Worcester. He's more hometown than James is,
Sure.
or than Jared is, rather.
All right, so both players really enjoying it. You guys can see the trophy in the background, kind of like the World Series of Poker where they put the $8 million on the table. Pretty much the same thing
Yeah,
here.
real close.
Yeah. All right, Kevin Wheel in play. He's looking at his opening hand, seeing, can I keep this? What will I do here?
Yeah, and then Jared says, don't be afraid to mulligan.
Yeah.
You can mulligan. Go to 6, buddy.
Yeah, go to 6, go to 5.
Trying to taunt him into doing something foolish here. Let's see if it works.
Looks like both these guys are having fun. Looks like Kevin decided to keep. And Jared, I see a Force of Will. Don't see too much else. I see a Wasteland. It's pretty tough to see on like the small screen, but it's cool to see, what these guys are actually like thinking and how they're acting, body posture and whatnot. All right, so there's a Verdant Catacombs. And could this be the Death Right Shaman on turn 1?
If it's a turn 1 play, it's probably a Thoughtseize or a Death Right. I can't see Kevin playing Brainstorm on turn 1.
Oh, well, it's a forest, so we know what that means. Death Right Shaman.
There he is.
Yeah,
Big
pretty
bad
good
Death Right
start.
himself.
Yeah, it's pretty much the best start for Shardless Bug, realistically. Just turn 1 Death Right Shaman.
Yeah, turn 1 Death Right into turn 2 Shardless Ancestral. That's probably their god draw. That's what they want to happen.
Yeah. All right, so Jarrett will draw for his turn. So Snapcaster Mage, and there's a Swords to
Ooh.
Plowshare off the Caracas.
Yep, Jared knows that has to get out early.
And leading off with the Caracas and looking at his hand, it looks like his only other land is a Wasteland.
Wow, so that's a risky keep right there.
Yeah, well, he does have Force of Will and Engineering Explosives, so he figures, I'm on the draw, I can Mize.
Right.
Why not? There's another Verdant Catacomb from Kevin Jennings, and he's going to sacrifice it to probably fetch up an Underground Sea this time, I'm guessing?
That seems the best pairing with Forced. I wonder if he's going to go aggressive here with another Tarmogoyf, seeing that Jared leads on Caracas.
Yeah, we'll find out momentarily. He can't play the Battlefield Strix because Battlefield Strix is a black-blue, and Kevin has that Forest in play that he fetched up turn 1. And instead he just passes the turn. There's a Vitellion Click drawn by Jared, but no other land. Do you think Jared's going to go after the Underground Sea?
It doesn't.
There's a Brainstorm.
Look like it.
I think maybe he might force this Brainstorm and then Wasteland the Underground Sea.
Wow, yeah. I mean, Kevin Jennings fetched up a Forest on turn 1 with his Verdant Catacomb, so Jared has to keep that in mind.
Yeah. All right, so he allows the Force to resolve, and Kevin, I believe, hits 2 Tarmogoyfs.
Wow.
Which is going to be good for him, especially with Jared, kind of being color screwed here.
Yeah, against a mana screwed opponent, what you want to do, you want to put him away as quickly as possible.
All right, and there is a Shardless Agent into the Goyf.
So pretty good start for Kevin Jennings
set
here.
It up that way.
And Force of Will might come down on this Tarmogoyf here.
Yeah,
it looks
probably
like
on the Goyf.
So removing, looks like Vendalion, that's not going to get cast anytime soon with no blue.
All right, and let's see if that resolves. It does. Goyf will hit the bin. Shardless Agent will stay in play. And Jared's really looking for a land here.
Yeah, he needs a fetch land. He needs an island.
There it is. Scalding Tarn right off the top.
Yep, back in the game.
Yeah, especially with that Snapcaster Mage. So he's able to, pass a turn. If Kevin happens to play Goyf pre-combat or whatnot, Jared could go Snapcaster, Plow, and then block the Shardless Agent.
Right, pretty much undo the card advantage gained by Shardless Agent, Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah, and regardless, he could just hit this 2-point damage, take the 2 points of damage, and then do it on the end step.
Right. And here we go. This looks like a Tarmogoyf.
Yeah, it does.
Smells like a Tarmogoyf. It is.
All right, so I think Jared's going to make this play right here.
Yeah, now it stinks to crack your fetch, open your blue source up to Wasteland if you don't have to, but I think it's pretty obvious at this point Kevin Jennings, no Wasteland.
Yeah, I think actually Kevin Jennings does have a Wasteland.
Oh, wow, really?
And yeah, he's been just holding it for the whole game, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, either way, basic island for Jared. He understands the threat of Wasteland. It's always there in Legacy.
Yeah.
You always have to play with that card in mind.
All right, now this just in. Brian Knopp wins 2-0 with his Rug Delver over John Ashworth and his Goblins.
Wow.
Yeah.
So finally wrong on a prediction there.
Yeah, so we're 2-1 right now. So there's a Snapcaster, and there's a Plow on the Goyf.
Yep,
And
so
Shardless Agent applies really good card advantage, but so does Snapcaster Mage.
that's right. They're going to try and, or they're going to kind of trade. So the Snapcaster's extra card Swords traded with the Shardless extra card Goyf.
Yeah, now imagine if Jared just draws a blue source here.
Yeah.
He could just slam Jace. Ooh, this is
I thought it was at first.
Yeah, I know. It looked like it. That was a pretty crucial turn right there.
Yeah, that might really, wow, attack. That's kind of interesting. With Kevin at 23 and Jared at 16, I'm not sure I like that attack.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's fine. I'm pretty sure that Kevin has a plan. I'm sure that Jared has a plan. Maybe he's trying to entice Kevin to play more guys so he's able to set up a Supreme Verdict.
Okay.
All right, so Creeping Tar Pit gets activated, and it looks like Kevin wants to swing in for 5. And he's going to plow that Creeping Tar Pit.
Yeah, so it's interesting. He has the Wasteland, but he decides to plow. Is that just because he doesn't have enough land?
Well, yeah, of course, he wants to hit the J, so I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin right now just wastes that Caracas, and he does just that. I think Kevin might have wasted that Caracas a bit earlier as well. Might have been nice. So there's a Flooded Strand drawn by Jared. Jared will pass the turn, so now a Shardless Agent just staring down a Snapcaster Mage. We'll see what happens. Maybe an abrupt decay on the Snapcaster Mage. Kevin wants to continue to bash in.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've kind of reached a sort of parity here, but that threatens to break it wide open. An unblockable 2 points a turn.
All right, so there's a Deathrite Shaman. There's a Humility drawn by Jared.
Wow.
Really interesting game.
Yeah,
really
so
close game.
Jared has boarded in both the Moat and the Humility for this matchup.
All right, so it looks like he might play an Engineering Explosives on 1. I think he thought about it. Maybe just take out that Deathrite Shaman,
Right.
trade 1 for 1, which is fine here.
Yeah, I mean, he has the Supreme Verdict, but he doesn't have the mana to cast it, so I think, yeah, that he has to settle for the EE to trade with the Shaman.
Yeah, and I kind of like taking out the Shaman right now just because you do have Crucible Whirls in your deck, and you
Okay.
don't want Kevin to be able to take away any of your lands from your graveyard.
Sure.
There's an Abrupt Decay.
That's targeting Snapcaster Mage, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now do you think Jared's going to blow the explosives? No, he doesn't blow the explosives quite yet.
It's weird. I really don't see the point in waiting.
Well, I think because Jared has Supreme Verdict in hand,
Okay.
he's just hoping to draw a land. He's thinking, you know what, that Deathrite Shaman, all it's really going to do is deal me 2 points of damage. And if I do draw a land, I'm able to go Supreme Verdict and still have the Engineering Explosives in play.
Okay, so you think the upside of Kevin maybe tapping out for a Tarmogoyf or something is worth it? That's a good point.
Yeah, maybe, but if he's not going to blow it that turn on a Deathrite Shaman and his plan is Supreme Verdict, then maybe he would just want to hold the Engineer's Explosives
Okay.
for something at Tarmogoyf later in the game. So there's a lot to think about. Again, Legacy is a format where it's just so many plays, so many complex decisions.
Right. So there's the end of turn EE.
Yeah. All right.
So-
And Deathrite will remove a Source to Plowshare.
Right. So any future Snapcasters that Jared draws will not be able to swords.
Oh, and there's a Golgari Charm. Wow, regenerating the Deathrite Shaman.
Interesting. Now, this puts Jared in a spot where he would like to draw a white source to be able to cast this Verdict.
Yeah, he really wants to. Let's see. And it's
Wow.
a
Oh,
Stoneforge
that's not so
Mystic.
bad.
That's okay. I think at this point, though, if he still has that Batterskull in his deck, I think that's what he wants to get over the Sword of Fire
Right.
as for sure.
Sword of Fire's a little slow right now. Batterskull, he's in a little bit of danger. His life total, he just wants to get the skull, start gaining it back.
Yeah, let's find out in a second. I saw him pass the sword. Yep, it goes right for the Batterskull. So Kevin will now draw for his turn.
Looks like fetch land for Kevin Jennings. Let's see if he has a Jace to slam.
Don't think he does. He just probably would have cast it
Last
last turn.
turn?
Yeah. So I see a Abrupt Decay, and his last card is a Brainstorm.
Wow, so that's a pretty good last card to have when your board is Underground Sea fetch land untapped.
Yeah, definitely. So he's able to knock Jared down to 9, and then he can use the Deathrite Shaman to bring him to 7. Let's see, does Jared draw a land? He draws a Brainstorm. This is getting close.
Yeah, he has to crack it right here for a land, and
Let's
if he
see,
doesn't, oh, okay, there it is.
2, 3, Flooded Strands, Elspeth, Brainstorm.
Yeah, and Jared really just flooding out on the 4-drops this game.
Yeah, a lot of 4-drops in his deck. So the deck's really cool, but with all these 4-drops and only 23 lands,
Yeah,
you have to think maybe he wants to cut a 4-drop or so.
yeah, Jared might have made the mistake of siding in both Humility and Moat and not taking out any 4s, having a total of 6 in his deck after board.
Yeah.
7, actually.
Yeah, well, Jared puts 2 cards back from this Brainstorm. There's a Flooded Strands. And I think he's going to just pass the turn.
Yep.
Jared's down to 7. Kevin blows the sack land.
Wow, this seems
Interesting.
really bad. I would keep that Brainstorm to or the fetch land to combo with that Brainstorm, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say it was bad or anything. I think Kevin just has his line of play that he wants to follow through.
Okay.
So we'll see if it pays off. Right now, he's doing a great job. He has Jared down to 7.
Yeah.
So you really can't complain on the decisions that Kevin's making, you know. But Jared, on the other hand, he's been playing fine as well, all game, probably all day. Just it turns out that he got a draw that was pretty clunky, and you know, a wasteland later. Yeah, I don't really agree with this Brainstorm either. I think AJ Soccer would probably flip out over this.
He's ripping
but-
out his hair right now if he's
yeah,
watching.
yeah. So we'll see what happens. Maybe it works out for Kevin though. He draws. Not sure what he pulled. Jared is down to 5. What does Kevin have? He passes the turn. Jared sacks a Flooded Strands. He's on 4.
Yeah,
This is
and
really close.
Effectively 2 from that Deathrite Shaman. He has to pull the trigger on the Supreme Verdict this turn.
Yeah, this is really close. What do you think? They're laughing. You know, Jared's calm.
Yeah, what a tense game, and you know these players just
That's a pretty good shot of
laughing
all
about
the
it.
Star City Games T-shirts right there. The hoodie, the T-shirt.
Perfect.
So yeah. Let's see. What's Jared going to draw here? On tap, takes a look over to his crowd, and is that
Oh,
another,
another
Supreme
Supreme
Verdict? Okay.
Not really what he wants. He would love just a land right here.
Ooh, there's a Brainstorm in
Okay.
response. Maybe searching for. Does he have another Golgari charm? He does have 2 Golgari charms.
He does. He found a life from the loam, but not a Golgari charm. So he'll be able to loam and start recurring wastelands here.
Yeah, so this could be dangerous for Jared. Even though he's able to somewhat stabilize at 2, he's going to be in trouble for the wasteland lock.
Right. He's going to have to resolve a Planeswalker ASAP if he wants to have any shot in this game.
Yeah, I mean, Jared does have 1 plains and 1 island, but besides for that, the Tundra is going to go, the wasteland's going to go.
Right. Everything important costs 4 from Jared Boettcher. Boettcher.
All right, so Kevin
Oh,
plays
wow.
Deathrite Shaman. There's a life from the loam. What is he going to target?
Looks like wasteland, creeping. No, the creeping tar pit's exiled.
I think it's the wasteland double verdant catacombs.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it is. Kevin's definitely going to play the wasteland on the Tundra, so Jared's going to have to top deck one more time. Let's see if he can do it.
Ooh, wow,
Flood
still
of Strands.
in the
Wow.
game.
Jared's going to go to 1 here.
Yeah, and unfortunately for him, he doesn't play 2 planes. He plays 2 island, but not 2 planes, so he can't protect himself from that wasteland.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Kevin has to know that every turn he has to dredge that life for the wasteland just to cut Jared off the 4th land, because once a Jace or Elspeth comes down, even though Jared's at 1, the game's totally different.
Yeah, and there's the Supreme Verdict, 1 for 1. The Deathrite Shaman. Jared can pass the turn here
and remember,
at 1 life.
Kevin still knows about that. Oh, he doesn't dredge the wasteland.
Well,
Wow.
he couldn't play it twice. Oh,
He
that's
doesn't
odd.
dredge. I can't believe it.
Yeah, he wanted to rip a Deathrite Shaman so badly. I think he might have just forgotten about it there.
Right there. I'm pretty sure Kevin needed just to pretty much lock out Jared on his mana.
Wow.
And now that's land number 5. He could play Batterskull. What do you think? Is he going to go for Batterskull or Jace? This is really tough.
At 1 life? Oh, I don't know.
This
Oh
is
my
really
goodness.
tough. You know,
he
he
has
plays-
to know that Kevin has nothing.
Yeah. This is such an exciting game, to be honest.
I might play the Skull. I think I might take
Yeah.
advantage of the fact that this is the only time in the game he might have 5 mana.
Yeah, no, he goes for the Jace, though. Because
Okay.
he's worried about the double blue, I guess. He goes for Jace, and I think he's going to brainstorm. 1, 2. Remember, Forcible's a dead draw for the most part, unless you can
Fetchland
hardcast
is a
it.
dead draw too.
Ooh, there's a sword,
Tundra.
there's a Tundra. That's a good one. That's a good one, boys.
Wow, what a game.
This is a sick game. If you guys aren't watching, I don't know. You have to be watching.
Yeah, the 1 Tundra left in the deck, he draws it.
Yeah, all right. And Jared is just going to pass the turn, I believe. I'm really surprised that Kevin didn't want to dredge back that life from the loam. I think that might have been the Star City turning point of the game right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, if you're just joining us right now, we're coming to you Game 3 of the quarterfinals here at Star City Games Worcester. These guys have played a hard match, 54 minutes in, and they're at a tense Game 3.
I predicted about an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, as much as Kevin was trying, he could only get Jared to 1, and now he's kind of stalled out. He just has stuck on land. He might have a GT in hand, but none of this does anything against Jace.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. So Jared's shuffling up Kevin's deck. Life totals 1 to 21.
Wow.
And do you think the life of the loam on the wasteland kind of just passed now? That
Yeah.
one key point, do you think it's not even worth it anymore?
I think he has to try and find an answer to this Jace.
I think it's too late. I think that was the key turn, and Kevin Jennings seemed to just missed it.
Yeah, he wanted to draw a way to kill his opponent.
He draws a Misty Rainforest. That's not going to help. He'll pass the turn, and now Jarrett's probably going to brainstorm and then drop the Batterskull.
Yeah, I think so.
And cross his fingers.
He might, I would say Fate Seal, but Kevin Jennings has that fetch land, so that doesn't do too much.
It doesn't really do too much.
At this point, yeah, he just has to
There's a Tundra.
use Jace first.
Yeah, well, he just wants to get that Tundra down. Maybe
Right.
he's just so excited. Oh, he's going to Fate Seal. Maybe
Okay.
Let's see. What is it? What is it? Maybe he'll tank really long. No, he leaves it. And what do you think, Elspeth or Batterskull? I think it's got to be Batterskull.
Yeah, you have to drop the skull. You have to get above 1 life here in case.
Ooh, he goes for Elspeth.
Wow,
He wants to
okay.
play it risque.
Okay.
You know? The whole thing is that if he gets the Batterskull down and he goes anywhere higher than 1, as long as he draws a blue card, all of a sudden that Force of Will is turned on.
Right, which is why I would have played Skull, but at the same time, Kevin has no reach, only Deathrite Shaman. So I can't really blame Jared for playing that, but I might have chosen the safer line there.
Yeah, I think maybe he's worried about, say, an Abrupt Decay and doesn't
Okay.
want his Germ Token to get destroyed.
Sure,
But,
sure.
I mean, he could just always return the Batterskull. So if we're missing something here, tweet in at us at GFABS5, at SCG Live. Let us know. so far, Jared's played this game pretty amazing.
I think so.
You
I
know?
think maybe like one minor mistake, but Jared Boettcher, I'm really impressed with his play in this quarterfinal match. I love it.
Yeah, one life. That's exciting. He had to get a couple of lucky draws. He had to have Kevin, make some decisions that didn't really go in Kevin's benefit. So here we are now. There's a Belful Strix.
Okay, well.
What happens if he goes running Belful Strix? Right?
Yeah, that's
he
it.
Could.
So here's 2 mana Baleful Strix, probably the best draw on the deck.
Yeah, it is. Is it going to be runner here? I think
Abrupt
it's Abrupt Decay.
Yeah, and doesn't really do a heck of a lot.
Well, I mean, what is he going to do with that Belful Strix? Oh, there's a Jitte. Okay.
It doesn't really matter too much. If the Strix connects once, it's over anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really want to bounce the Belful Strix. You might have to with
he
the
might.
Jace. Does he have any artifact in his yard for the Academy runes? Does he still have
the Engineer?
The Engineer Explosives?
He might,
I think
but
he does.
But he doesn't have enough land to make use of that, I
one
don't believe.
short. Wow, he is just one short. Looks at his hand. Oh, this game is crazy.
Yeah, might be regretting not playing the Skull right now.
So he knows he's going to draw that sword there. So he's able to sword, equip, attack, kill the Belfo Strix that way.
Hey, it looks like
Jared set it up perfectly.
Pro blue means that Kevin can't block with the Strix. He can't acquire GT counters. This sword is going to take out the Strix.
Yeah, and Kevin only has 1 mana open. Does Kevin have the Abrupt Decay in his hand?
Yeah, he does.
If he does, what's the point of equipping with that Azumazao's Jitte? This is such a great game. It is crazy. All right, he's going to draw a card. He draws Jace. Now he has a blue card for the Force of Will, but he's still on 1 life.
Right, he has to get that Batter Skull in play.
Yep.
He has to be able to have Force of Will back up to truly lock this game.
All right, he Fate Seals Kevin. He allows the card to stay on top. Kevin's going to draw. What will it be? Do you think he's just going to dredge because he knows that card's a brick? Imagine Jared games him and that card is like really something insane.
No, I don't think he's going to do that. Dredge, there's nothing good to dredge here.
Yeah, he's taking a look.
Wow.
He's going for the dredge. Let's see
Okay.
what it was. It was just a land, a Brainstorm, and a Snapcaster.
He was probably
Mage.
hoping to hit a Creeping Tar Pit right there.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe like running Creeping Tar Pits with his Life from the Loam, play the Wasteland.
Yeah, I mean, he has the 1 Tar Pit left, so you could go like Tar Pit that gets wasted.
Loam it.
Yeah, loam it back. It would be over a couple of turns now.
Right.
So there's a Wasteland, and probably just 2 sack lands.
Yeah, why not?
Vertic Catacombs or Blue Delta.
Some Brainstorm fodder.
Yeah, sure. All right. This has been one of the best games I've watched of Legacy in a long time, especially in top 8. Yeah.
58 minutes in, 1 life to 14 life. Jared Boettcher trying to crawl back from this 1-21 deficit here.
Yeah, let's see. Jared's gonna draw for his turn, and it's a Stoneforge Mystic.
Okay, not too relevant here.
No, that actually is pretty good because he's able to go Stoneforge Mystic. Next turn, he could Mystic in the Batter Skull
and equip. Okay.
That turn.
Was he able to hold up Force Mana as well?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, he
so.
doesn't. Well, let's see what he draws. Maybe he'll draw a land. He could just play the Batter Skull. Oh, this is the Abrupt
Decay. There it
okay.
is.
Yeah, that makes sense. He had it last turn as well.
Yep. So I imagine that's going on the sword. Not much sense killing that token.
Yeah, exactly. All right, and now things change a little bit.
I would Brainstorm with Jace here since your opponent has that fetch land. There's not much point Fate Sealing, but Jared disagrees. Let's see what he sees.
Okay, let's see what it is. I mean, it is somewhat relevant because
for the ultimate.
Well, yes, for the ultimate, but B, well, what happens if that card was a game winner?
Right. Make Kevin use his fetch land?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
All right, there's Batter Skull. So this is the turn right here. If Jared could live, if Jared could survive, this Batter Skull is going to stay in play with the Germ. I believe Jared might have just pulled off a match where a good chance he should have lost.
Right. I think Kevin has 1 more turn to draw out of this. He has to use this fetch land, get 1 fresh draw.
Kevin's down to 12.
And what can he draw here?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. His best out that 1 turn was running Baleful Strix. Baleful Strix was very important, but he decided to just tap low. Only left an Underground Sea open. So this is just a great game. Oh, man. Our producers are loving it, too. So that's always good.
Yeah, we've just passed the 60-minute mark here.
All right. This is cool, I could probably watch this game forever, to be honest.
It's fun.
Or at least for another hour, yeah.
Kevin, I think Kevin sees the writing on the wall. He has one turn here.
Let's see.
What's he got?
Oh, I think it was
Shardless?
a Charlotte's
I think
Agent?
so.
Okay, that's a start if it was a Charlotte's Agent.
Yeah, what's he going to cascade into?
Maybe a Visions?
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that would be great here.
Liliana, nope. Liliana, nope. Some lands, no. Remember, it's got to be a 2, a 1, or a 0 casting cost spell.
Where are
not
all
a
the
land.
visions?
There it is,
Oh,
Visions.
okay. That's a start.
Some hope
Let's
for Jennings right here.
we shuffle those, put those on the bottom first.
Yeah, Kevin's trying to say, hey, man, you got the force? Go for it, man. Go for it. You know?
That's about the only way he can win this game unless he hits running perfects from this Visions right here.
Yeah, all right. Well, he is going to draw 3 cards.
Right.
You know, maybe one was a Brainstorm. So it's more of a sweat. Liliana, Creeping Tar Pit, another Ancestral Visions. Liliana's not going to do anything here. Creeping Tar Pit, a bit too slow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Maybe too little, too late.
Jared Boettcher about to go up to 5 life here, maybe even 8 life.
Yeah, and I think Kevin's thinking, you know, what happened in this match? This is just crazy.
I don't know. What a match.
Yeah, there we see Nicholas Saban in the background.
They would have
He's
a draw
glued to this.
15 minutes ago.
Yeah, yeah, really. All right, there's the Liliana. All the foil cards in the world won't save Kevin right now.
That's right. They sure look pretty, but they don't do anything else. Liliana still just kills a token, and I think Jared Boettcher's about to connect with a Batter Skull.
Let's see. Kevin's still on the think tank here. Do you think he wants to equip that Jitte to Charlotte Ages? It doesn't really do anything.
No, Jace could just bounce it and connect with the skull.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Jared has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, he does go for the equipped. There's a Wasteland. And I think Jared is going to draw a Brainstorm.
Okay,
All right.
sure. So
I don't even think I would Brainstorm first. I think I would just go, my Elspeth will give +3/+3 to my Germ. I'm attacking for 7 in the air.
Right, but no, he disagrees. He's going to Brainstorm first. He's
All right,
going to see what
Brainstorm
there
first? Okay, why
is
not?
on top here.
Yeah. Sometimes they get overexcited there, especially in the
Can never
a
be
Magic game like this.
Never be too much of
Plow,
a mistake to Brainstorm
Jace,
first.
Scalding Tarn. Whatever you do, don't just sack that Scalding Tarn.
No, don't sack the Scalding Tarn. Don't force a will anything. Please, Jared, enter your combat step first.
All right, so he puts 2 cards back. Brainstorm will hit the bin. What's going to happen here?
Looks like
Elspeth.
Elspeth plus.
Is it plus? He's looking.
I think +3/+3 flying to the Germ token. Here it comes. And I think if you're Jared, you attack Kevin's life total directly. You just want to kill
For
him in
sure,
a couple
yeah.
turns.
That Liliana doesn't really do anything right now.
Right.
So it's weird. Liliana, you know, made a big splash in Standard, in Modern, in Legacy, and you know, even pops up in Vintage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as we can see here, sometimes it just doesn't do all that much. In
Yeah,
the later
exactly.
turns of the game, it's really unimpressive. It's only great on turn 2 or 3.
Yeah. All right. Jace is going to Fate Seal.
Wow. Okay. So +2.
Yeah. So 8-5 right now. Rolls are reversed. Kevin is way on the back foot here, and he's going to leave it on
Oof,
top.
that's not good for Kevin.
Yeah. And with Force of Will in hand, along with Jace, this game looks very good all of a sudden for Jared. This was probably one of the most exciting span of 15 minutes that just happened.
Yeah, an insane turnaround. It looked like Kevin couldn't lose, and then Jared had a miraculous top deck, another miraculous top deck, drew one of his 2 Tundras left in the deck,
Yeah.
and now he's on the verge of advancing to the semis here.
Yeah, Swords to Plowshare on that Charlotte Agent. And Jared is going past the turn.
Yep, Force of Will backup.
All right, there's a Wasteland, maybe on the Wasteland.
Okay.
Then there's going to be a Wasteland maybe on the Tropical Island, or
Yeah.
on the Bayou.
Sure.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter at that
No.
point. Just any land there. There's a Deathrite Shaman.
A little late for
Yeah,
Kevin
about
Jennings.
2 turns too late right there. Kind of like that song by Alanis Morissette, I think it is. So
Maybe you'll sing it for us later.
there
There's
it
the
is.
hand.
Wow, Jared, that definitely deserves a clap right there. I cannot believe Jared won that
Insane,
game.
insane game.
Really. At 1 life, you know, and all his friends are saying, no way,
How
no
did
way.
you do it? How did you do it? But
Yeah, and I think Kevin might go back and watch this and realize, you know, a couple of different lines he could have taken, But so be it. You know, Kevin did make top 8.
Yeah.
Definitely a solid performance, especially with over 300 players in a legacy events. That's, you know, a lot of players, a lot of different decks you're going to have to play. So we'll see what happens there. So we're moving on to the top 4, and I'm excited. My hair's a
You're
mess.
excited. I'm excited.
This is crazy,
Yeah,
man. Yeah,
awesome.
such a great game, and I'm glad to be, you know, doing coverage with you, so we enjoyed that game together. That was a lot of
awesome.
fun. Yeah, it really was. Well, during the start of the round, we promised that we would give 3 months premium away. Then we said that we would give 6 months premium away, and then eventually a year.
Right. Quarters, semis, finals, 3, 6, year.
Yeah. All right.
Why don't you tell us who won the quarter?
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you guys that the answer to the question was Cedric Phillips.
Yep.
All right, Adrian Sullivan and Matthias Hunt.
Nice
those
duo.
3
Nice
guys.
duo.
Yeah, it really is. Those 3 guys are going to be doing coverage at the Somerset Invitational just under 3 weeks. I believe it's July 26th, if I do my math right.
Yeah.
All right, so if you guys are going to be there, maybe bring me a birthday gift. My birthday is right around that time.
Very nice.
But you don't have to do that because we have a gift for you, Mr. Free Mail Factor, Ron Loomsden.
Wow.
Ron Loomsden.
Congratulations. 3 free months.
You knew who the 3 commentators were. You tweeted in. We randomly selected you. So that's awesome.